Hi, I'm Jess. Welcome to my first video. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, but we're gonna figure it out together, surely. So, this first video of mine is gonna be a get into cosplay with me and get to know me. On my Instagram, I asked my friends and my followers to send me over some questions, just asking me about me or my cosplays, and yeah, I'm going to share that with you today whilst I get into my Toga Himiko cosplay. We're going to start off with a question. This is just the first question I have. Would you be willing to do a makeup routine video? I mean, I guess this is kind of like a makeup routine. I'll be talking about what steps I do, what products I use. It's not going to be super in-depth, but yeah, hopefully you can take some helpful tips from this. Now, I put my contacts in before anything else because my eyes water no matter what. Sometimes they take forever to get in, so my eyes get irritated, so they start watering, and then that ruins my makeup if I'm already wearing makeup. Props to all those people who can put contacts in afterwards. I wish I could do that. I'll be putting these in. I'll show you afterwards because I feel like some people get uncomfortable with that. So, by the power of editing, these are the contacts. Here's a better look at them. They do kind of move on their own as you look around and as you blink and stuff, but they're from Pinky Paradise. They're really comfortable. The vision, I'd say, is maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for me. There's a yellow haze over, so unless there's like a really bright light, I can't see much. I'm going to try and do a question after every step. So, question 2. Do you set budgets for cosplays, and what sort of cost on average is a cosplay? Well, I don't really set budgets for my cosplays. If there's a more expensive cosplay, I will save up for it. It doesn't mean that I get it straight away. Or I'll buy little pieces at a time, so like I'll buy the wig, and then I'll buy the outfit, and then I'll buy the contacts all at different times. And then on average, I'd say a cosplay is usually, on the cheaper side, is probably from 60 to 80 pounds, because I'd say on average a wig can cost 10 to 20 pounds. An outfit can cost anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds, maybe even 40. And the contacts are usually somewhere from 20 to 30 pounds. That's not even including the makeup. Of course, it can be cheaper if you already have stuff in your own wardrobe that you can use. So, yeah. Before anything, before my primer or my concealer or foundation, I go in and I do my brows, starting off with this Revolution brow pencil in the shade brown or dark brown. It doesn't really say on the packaging. It says on the box, but I threw the box away a long time ago. I take, of course, the pencil side, and I take my mirror, and hopefully you can see this, and I just make a line on the bottom of my brow and then a line on the top, connecting them both. That's very light, I understand, but I'm going to fill it in and I'm going to show you. Here they are after using the brow pencil. I understand that the shape is very janky, but we'll get to that step in a minute. Next, I go in with this very, very old palette. Can't identify it for you, I'm very sorry, but if you get a palette with just any browns or whatever hair colour you're going for, then that'll be fine. And I dip into this shade right here, which you can't really see, but that's okay. And I literally just go over what I've done, and it's okay if it's a bit messy because we're going to shape it out in just a moment, but it's just mainly to darken the brows because I find the pencil, even if you get a really dark colour, it's not as dark as you want it to be. This is where we really bring the shape in. I am using Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 03. And I just take a little bit and I put it on the back of my hand. And then I take a brush like this that is very thin and defined, so I can really get that crisp shape. I'm going to do this eyebrow and then I'll come back and show you how to do this eyebrow. There is the first eyebrow carved out. As you can tell, there's a big difference. It's much thinner, it's more crisp. So yeah, let me walk you through it. So brush, concealer, dipping it in, and I always start on the bottom and sort of just follow it as it was, but also bringing it inwards more. This is really hard to describe. I can't really tell you how to do it, I can only really show you. But next, I take my brush and I go along the top. And I sort of use my other eyebrow as a guide, because it's always easier to do this one, I don't know why. Following like where it comes down, so that they're somewhat on the same, in the same bloodline somewhere. And here we are, all done. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. This is how I pretty much do my eyebrows for every character as well as my everyday makeup, except for Uraraka, where I just literally do circles. Nevertheless, I believe it's time for another question. How do you style your wigs? Maybe do a tutorial because they're so cute. 1, thank you. And 2, I will be doing wig stylings hopefully some point this week. I don't know if I'll post them this week, but I'll be recording them this week, as I have a Yuri wig from Doki Doki Literature Club and a Makima wig from Chainsaw Man. Anyway, this is where I bring in my primer and concealer and the rest of all that stuff. So I use Baby Skin by Maybelline, and I use it quite a lot, as you can tell. I'm running out. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I'll use this e.l.f. Putty Primer. I'm not sure what shade this is in, I'm not sure the name of it, but it's like more closer to my skin tone. Hair is out of the way for this next part, as we are doing concealer, and as you can see I have 2 here, one in that same shade 03 and another in the shade 05. This is because I like to use the lighter one, the shade 03, for the middle, so under my eyes, everywhere that I really want quite bright compared to the rest of my face. So eyelids, forehead, chin, and then I'll go in with the darker shade 05, and I'll just put it the rest around my face. I'm not usually a big fan of foundation unless it's for unless I really need that full coverage or I'm doing a proper full face. So usually I just use concealer for my face. And when you're looking a bit crazy, you can go ahead and blend it out with your beauty blender or brush. I prefer to use a beauty blender just because I feel I have more control. Here we are all blended. This is without any powder on or any setting spray or anything like that. But now we have a nice even skin tone. We are now going to go in with my liquid blush by She Glam. I'm not sure what shade this is. I think it's Bloom, but it looks like this, and I just do one little dot here. Once again, depends on the character. And then I go in with a beauty blender and I just blend that in on my cheekbones. If I was doing Uraraka, for example, I would probably put it more here and I would focus it on one area. I wouldn't blend it out because she has very pink cheeks in just one area. Now that we are all blended and another step has passed, I believe it's time for another question. What is your favourite part about cosplay? I'd say my favourite part about cosplay is probably the community. Through cosplay I've met so many wonderful people and talented people, and I've met a lot of friends that I am still friends with now and were actually the reason I got into cosplay. Next, we are finally on to powder. I use 2 different types of powder. I use this Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless translucent shade powder. And I just go in with a little, what's this called? Puff. here. I take it under my eyes because that's obviously where I want that really bright spot. So I use this white powder to just brighten it up a bit more, and I do really enjoy that matte look. I mean, I do enjoy dewy looks as well, but personally I would never know how to do that. So matte it is. Now this is going to be a little bit confusing. I did used to use the NYX Professional Makeup HD finishing powder in the translucent shade similar to this, but I ran out of it and I believe they discontinued it, don't know why. So now I put my loose powder into that packaging, but for the loose powder I use Revolution translucent baking powder, which looks like this. It's not very translucent to me, it's more just like my skin tone, but I'll take it out of this thing. I will just put a little bit into here because then it's easier for me to pick up on the brush. So I take my brush and stuff it in like that, and then I usually tap off the excess. And then I literally just go over everywhere because, like I said, I really like that smooth matte finish. I'm realising that we're quite far in now and I haven't done as many questions as I feel like I should have. So let's do another question. Or maybe let's do two. When did you first get into cosplaying? I got into cosplaying, I believe, when I was about 14. I didn't start cosplaying until I was almost 15, but I started thinking about it when I was like 14. I'm not sure what question we're on now, but we're doing two in a row. Would you ever cosplay any non-anime / cartoon characters? I definitely would. I would love to cosplay Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. That's the main one that comes to mind. So yeah, I would definitely in future cosplay people who aren't from animes or cartoon characters. Anyway, continuing on with the makeup, I next do highlighter. These are the two highlighters that I use. They're both by Revolution in the shades Diamond Glow and Rose Lucia. Not sure if I pronounced that right. Go straight in on my cheeks, and sometimes I can do a bit too much, so if I do, I just go back in with my powder brush and just, you know. So yeah, I put that all over my cheekbones because I freaking love highlighter. All over my nose bridge, and my cupid's bow. I'll go in to the Diamond Glow shade with a brush like this, and I'll just put that, and then I go in with a smaller, thinner brush like this, and I dip into that same shade, and I put it on my inner corners. I take a little brush like this, another quite thin one, and I just sort of make a little wing to begin with. Quite literally just winging it. Next, I do take a fluffier brush like this, and I just very lightly dab it into the colour that I'm using, just so it's relatively clean, but I can still smoke it out just like this. Here is the eyeshadow all done. I'm sure it's not amazing, but like I said, Toga is a messy girl, so I don't usually worry about her eye makeup too much, especially because the contacts are so dramatic. I feel like no one's looking at the makeup. Plus, we're going to add lashes, which will hide all your mistakes. But first, I do put on mascara. I use this Ted Baker mascara, and I do have a second mascara, which is Ultra Plush W7, but I use that for my bottom lashes, which I do after my false lashes. Ta-da! Here is the eye look, all finished, even though my freaking eyelash keeps coming up. I swear I've been getting closer to you, spiritually and physically, throughout this whole video. Like, I started like back here, you know, I'm like in your face. Now I have a couple of red lipsticks, I've got quite a few, but my main favourite lipstick to use is this little palette here that a friend gave me a while ago. And it's the Maybelline New York Colour Drama Lip Contour Palette in Crimson Vixen, apparently. You can tell which shade I use the most. So I use the rounded side. And I start at my Cupid's bow because I prefer to have a rounded Cupid's bow. I don't know, I've done it for years. And their other lips all finished. Now I usually like to go a little bit darker red, so I do use a couple more products for Toga just because she's a villain. So I go in with this Revolution Corpse Bride lipstick in the shade Victoria. Now if I were to add a gloss on, I would use this Collection Gloss Me Up lip gloss in this nice red shade. It's my favourite by far. I've used it a lot. I'm almost running out. Alright, so let's show you it on. Perfect. Now I'm gonna get my teeth in, I'm gonna put my wig on, I'm gonna put my outfit on, and I will show you the finished product, and we will go through some of the last questions that I need to get through. And this is the final look. I'm not sure how many questions I'm going to do, but I got quite a lot that I haven't gone through yet, so I would really like to try and get through some of those. So thank you for sticking around if you've made it this far, and let's get on to the next question. What is one tip that you would give to any cosplayer? I'd say don't compare yourself, because don't compare yourself to other cosplayers, and also don't compare yourself to the original character, because obviously you want to try and get as close to the original character as you can, but personally I love it when cosplayers put their own spin on a character. Like they'll style the wig in a different way, or they'll closet cosplay, or they'll do a paper wig, or they'll do really accessorized makeup, or they'll have loads of piercings. You know, the list goes on and on and on. If you could change anything about your cosplays, what would it be and why? I'd say this isn't exactly about my cosplays. It kind of is, but it's also about me. I would love to learn to sew. I don't know how to sew for the life of me, which is kind of strange because I'm a cosplayer and my sister loves knows how to sew. She went to college for sewing. Comfort cos and most popular. I'd say my comfort cosplay is probably Toga. The outfit's comfortable. She was my first ever full-on cosplay. So yeah, I'd say Toga is my comfort cosplay, mainly because of nostalgia, but also she's very comfortable. I love pretending to be her in TikToks and stuff. So yeah, but my most popular is probably Mitsuri Kuroji, and I mean, I wonder why. It's probably also mainly the wig, because I did a lot to her wig, and it's very different from her, it's still an ode to her regular design, but I spent about 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours on that wig. Not continuously, I'd say it's in 2 6-hour sessions, if I had to guess. So yeah, she's definitely my most popular, but I also do love cosplaying her anyway, so I really don't mind. Okay, this will probably be my last question, just because I'm worried about how long this video is going to be. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching and getting into cosplay with me and getting to know me. This is my first video, so if I was a little bit awkward, or if the video is not the best, then I do apologise, but give me time, okay? I'll get better. Last question. Favourite thing about conventions? It's probably the same thing as favourite thing about cosplaying. I love the community. You always get to meet, even if you don't become really lifelong friends, you just get to meet so many fun, unique people, and everyone looks so different and everyone's so talented, and they always have their own spin on the character. You can see 10 Tanjiros, but they've always done something different in their own personal style that just makes them look really cool. And also Artist Alley. If you couldn't tell, I love posters, I love pins, I have loads of pins, and I love seeing loads of different art styles. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. I know I already said, but this is me officially closing up the video, and I don't know how often I will post. I'm hoping on once a week, and then hopefully making that like a couple of times a week. But for now, as a college student who's doing art, it's quite difficult just to find the time to cosplay for myself. So but I do have this week off. I have a half term, so I will be pre-recording some videos to post over the next couple of weeks. So I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.